What's like one of the best books you've read recently, though?
Ever?
Or not, maybe not ever, but like recent, like what's like a book that you're like, everybody should go read this?
It's a really toss-up right now between the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. If you guys haven't read that book, like I haven't even finished it all because I'm taking it in phases of like, it's about like 7 laws of like how to approach life, and you know the law of like pure potentiality, and like it's all about creativity and being in flow state and finding like harmony and balance in life and stuff like that. And I had a few struggles that I went through in my life, like just to be like completely transparent, that like I felt like kind of like the universe shifted me into that direction of like, you know, the book kind of fell onto my lap essentially, and I like remember reading a few of it, and you kind of feel like that euphoric feeling of like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy. And then you start practicing the laws, and when I say that, like that sounds so crazy, like some people like that, like he's off the deep end, but like no, like I'm talking about
I agree with you.
I'm a big believer now in like alone time, like you just talking about going to the beach alone, man. Like that's where I do the most work on myself, and I truly believe that like that's who you are, like through and through to your cores when you are alone. That book really changed my life and just my outlook on life. Like I started to empathize with a lot of people. I think was a big thing that I noticed, man. I was at Starbucks right before this, and like I just think to myself, is like, you know, some of the workers in there taking my order are like some of the happiest people I've ever, from an outside perspective, they're just happy to be living, happy to be like alive. And to me, I'm like, I envy those people. Those are the people I look up to, is like, you know, you like, I'm not saying they're not successful in their own right. Success is like to every degree is like different to each person, but like they're working a minimum wage job and they're as happy as can be. They're just happy to be alive. And to me, I envy those people, because I'm like, they got their shit on lock. Like that's amazing. That's amazing to me. And like, that's where I'm trying to get, you know what I mean? A place of like humbleness and humility, and just kind of empathize with other people. Or like a perfect example is like, if say someone on the road cut me off or something, or I cut somebody off by accident, and he's angry and he's pissed and he's giving me attitude for no reason, like instead of being like a hothead like I used to be, firing back and like that chip on the shoulder mentality, wanting to kind of be like, what's up, dude? Like instead of doing that, like started to empathize and think about like, I don't know what happened to that guy this week. Like maybe he lost a family member 3 months ago, and he hasn't been the same emotionally, and like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I started to think about these things when I started like reading this book.
It's a book that I suggest anybody read it. It's really quick read if you're going to just read it in one sitting, but you can also like,
it's a book to go back to.
Exactly.
Like it's a book to like annotate, read. Like I'm a big journaler now too.
But depending upon where you're at in your life, you can actually have a different perspective on it. So
the fact that I haven't read it in a month, and it's still like is sticking in my head of like, I got to get out and spend time in nature. I got to get out and like, you know what I mean? I got to like do these things.
It's important.
Like, and to me, like taking my dog for a walk around the neighborhood, like, and like just like, there's like so much mental clarity I get like in just being out in nature.
It
and
matters.
Like,
man.
and being
it really
alone.
Does.
And we're also just constantly surrounded by noise too. That's like a big thing too, is like nobody takes the time out of their day to sit in silence, bro. And that sounds nuts to people. Like that sounds nuts. Like if you were like, yo, have you ever sat in silence for like 20 minutes? They'd be like, what? Like they'd be crazy.
I've been doing that more, honestly. Dude, like after a long day of work, I actually drive home in silence.
How beneficial is it?
I love it.
Okay.
It actually resets me a little bit, because if I had a long day at work, and like again, I'm constantly talking. I'm constantly asking questions. Answering questions.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where like, again, some days I want to listen to music or listen to a podcast home, but there's more recently as I get older, I would say now it's once a week where I drive home in silence.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Like,
and I actually enjoy it.
Underrated play.
I'm a huge hiker. I love being out in nature. I love yoga. Like there's like those types of things for me have really been a positive change in my life, and I feel them when I'm not doing them.
Yeah,
in a
100%.
negative way.
We're so programmed to wake up. What's the first thing we do in our morning? Snooze our phone and then go on social media. That's or like answer texts or. So I am such a victim of that. Like, not a victim, but like I do it all the time. It's a problem.
Same.
Yeah, and so like, but I've tried before like doing it, and you feel infinitely better. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me to think about.
It is.
Yeah.
But this is an awesome conversation. But anyway, great job.